Hey everybody, this is Breaking the Cage Astrology TV, and I am LSF, or as Matt likes to call me, Shaman, Bells, whatever. I go through a bunch of different names. This is for June 9th through the 15th, and we're getting ready now to approach a a Sagittarius full moon, literally on the galactic center. Oh, the information I have coming in. This week, before I get in, it goes with this week of energy, what we need to know and see and understand about the changes that are going on with ourselves and the world around us. But it also has to do with our blueprint and just the bigger story, okay? Because what I'm really getting is, we've heard, and people in the spiritual community have said a million times, you have to forget who you are now, what you've been taught now, in order to remember who you are. And spirit kind of comes in and gives me, oh, bullshit on that. And what I mean by that is, what happened to fearless? What happened to fearless? What happened to larger than life? We've been stuck. We've been programmed and stuck in this 3D so drastically long, life after life after life for some of us, that we're just in the dull and drab, going with the flow, going with the motions, pulling ourselves slowly away without meaning it, without ever meaning it or knowing it, pulling ourselves away from what we are. We're larger than life. We're fearless. But it's like we forgot it. And when I say larger than life and fearless, I mean transcendent. I mean, you are not this 3D physical thing. You are not a solid thing. You are not just a physical body or a blueprint that's carrying the soul inside of it. That's what makes us so much more magnificently wonderful and great, is because our mind, if we get back into our mind in the right places, we can really truly tap back into that source, back into that true divine essence, that true awe. You aren't just a body. You aren't just a body. You aren't just liquid. You aren't just mass. You aren't just atoms. Yes, in the three-dimensional, we are that. But you're everything. But we've been dulled down so long that we're still going with the flow, or we're still paying attention to the three-dimensional stories that we're being given, or that we're living, or that we're seeing, or that we're breathing, which keeps us dulled down in a form into that indoctrination. And that is what I mean by fearless, getting back into. Spirit gives me the court gesture. Singing, dancing, joking, mocking, playful, witty. Don't give a shit. Which also turns around and gives me into the Fool card in tarot. It's not being afraid of anything. of taking that new turn, twisting and trying, and just boldly stepping into the great wide open. Because so what? We'll go with it. Well, that's how powerful we are. And what it's reminding me of is we think of it, the best way I know how to put it to us in the way that I'm looking at it is the court jester connects us to the mocking, the dancing, the joking, the playing, the fun, your inner child, but the knowledge, which then turns us into what is larger than life. When you think about it and you're looking out at something that you enjoy, maybe your heroes are larger than life. Maybe, and I love this one best of all, is when drag queens come out and they're larger than life attitude. But nothing can always remain in that larger than life energy. You go to concerts and you get that energy of, ooh, or festivals, or the point is that's you. How are you using that larger than life, fearless energy? And are you even tapping into it, finding it, feeling it, using it, acknowledging it, playing with it? This is what they're trying to get at, because understanding everything has a dance. Everything has a sound, a vibration on it. This is part of energy. When we start looking at the blueprint, everything is a vibration. Everything has a frequency. Your dance is your life. Is your life still filled with drab, get up and go with the flow, have to do the same old things every day? Whereas I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. I'm not saying be fearless and crazy in a bad way and not be responsible, but I'm saying we harp on too much. And that has a lot to do with where we are. Why do you think everything is coming down to talking about energy and vibrations, and talking about that spiritual connection? And we've been trying to ascend and grow spiritually and psychically and all of that, and so much of it coming down to the alien conversations, people channeling, maybe touching down on earth. All of this was written. I mean, like I said, you're at the 26,000 years age of Aquarius. We're having the solar flashes, and we're having the peaks up and high, the black spikes and everything in the Schumann resonance, your geomagnetic storms. Think about it. Not too long ago, solar flares, when we had a regular M flare, was like, oh my God, the energy is so. At this point, we're seeing them so much, we're like, unless it's a super high X flare, we're kind of like, so. We're feeling it. We are growing with that energy. We are growing with this planet as it is changing. We are still feeling it, but we're feeling it so much higher. And this is part of that dance, part of that DNA, part of the upgrading. We talk about understanding we have light bodies. We do. We're not ready for them. We're still learning how to get ready for them. And that's because a lot of what's happening is we're purging out the lower vibrations that we cannot keep with us. And the planetary energies are moving through in such a way that we are walking up that ladder. But at the same time, we are behind. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We are where we are. We are spiritually growing as we grow. However, when they look at the idea of the pole shifting and all of this stuff, we really are behind. We were expected to come back online more powerfully than we are. And we still are. But this is where we're getting down to this shit's no joke, man. You've got to want it. You can't just go, I've grown this far spiritually and well, I'm good. This is a never ending process of getting back into your divine essence, your light body. But your light body has, you cannot step into that until we start to truly bring that healing and get rid of that lower focus. We hear so much stuff about, the horrible things being done to our food and what we're putting into our body and how we need to detox and we need to do this. And I'm not saying we don't, because in order for our bodies to literally grow into that light body essence, we have to become lighter. We literally have to stay hydrated. And hydration from water alone is not enough. It's literally having to come from your fruits and vegetables as well. Because in order for the DNA and the upgrade and the vibration and the sound to all rewrite itself properly, this has a lot to do with your electrolytes, your cell division, which is rewriting the DNA and allowing it to upgrade. And you have to understand with that comes the purging, the removing of things that are in the chakras, understanding the chakras that are having conversations within the organs. I put out, let me grab this before I get into the rest of the astrology and what spirit gave me. But I put out, 2 weeks ago, Jupiter moved into Gemini. Now, when a big planet such as Jupiter moves once a year. Saturn moves, I think, every 2 years, and then you start getting into the ones that move even slower. When these planets move once a year or more than or longer than once a year, and they finally move from one sign to another, it kind of is like wreaking havoc in your body as it starts to reassess just what in the world all it has to work on in our individual bodies and our individual blueprints. So Jupiter moving into Gemini, literally understand Gemini is the arms, the shoulders, the hands, the muscles, the bones that deal with both sides, as well as both sides of the lungs. It is dealing with all things that is connected to your breathing. It is your right ear. It is your collar. It is your bronchial breathing again. It is nerve diseases, asthma in general. Now, when we get into the fact Jupiter just came in here, Jupiter came into this energy, but Jupiter is responsible for the adrenal system, the glands, the liver, the gallbladder, pancreas, digestion, eliminating of toxins, wrong word. It's ears, hearing, navel. It deals also with the feet, physical development, throat, hips, thighs, and fatty tissues. You have the sun that just moved into Gemini. And I'm saying this because so many things all just moved in, cramped up into one little spot, as to why a lot of us are feeling funky, because the purge is happening right there, right before we go into a full moon in Sag at galactic center. All right. You have the sun, which is your spleen, your heart, your stomach, your head, your bone structure, your heart again, your circulatory system, your brain, bile, your spinal cord, your left eye for females, right eye for males, your moon, because we just had the new moon in Gemini, which is all the liquids in your body. It also is dealing with the chest. It is dealing with fertility. It is dealing with general weakness and emotional health. It is dealing with, again, all of the fluids in the body, blood, lymph nodes, bile, anything, like I said, fluid. It also is responsible for the kidneys, When we get down to Venus, which is also right here, we're talking about your sexual organs. We're also talking about your ovaries, your private parts, the kidneys, face, cheeks, skin, throat, chin. Then, in general, we're talking about your senses: feel, taste, smell, touch. You have every reason for your body to just be tweaking the funk out, okay? Because as Jupiter came in and all of these came in on top of it, plus you've got Mercury here. I passed right over Mercury, didn't I? Oh, that's because it's in a file I wrote. But everything is going through a purge right now of what has to be changed, dealing with our relationships with ourselves and the world around us. This is partially why Spirit gave me the fact of it's not about unlearning what you were taught. Screw that. It's about not even trying to remember what you are. It's about getting our head wrapped around the fact we are larger than life. We are unstoppable. We are a force that is to be reckoned with. We are not a physical body. We are an energy. An energy that is capable of anything if your mind is connected properly into that consciousness. And remembering that we're getting past the resistance of what we were taught. That court Jester that they're giving me and that Fool card personality, they're reminding me it represents period. No more fear. Like I said, being brave enough, crazy enough, curious enough, fun and willing to go with the flow enough to go out and just go for it. Try something new. So what? We'll just go with the flow, the ebb and the flow, because you're an energy. Not clinging. Not clinging to ideas or possessions. We're taught that too as we're starting to come into things. Nothing should be attached to you. Remember, this is your reality. And in a form, we're talking and dealing with everything we create. Even though you have loved ones or family or friends that are right here in the room with you or that you live with and stuff, they have their own realities. You have your own. They're not going to be the same realities. You are not to be attached and cling to anything so that we are free to be that fearless individual. Being aware of that kingdom, of that God energy that we are. And being aware when we're not. So we can, let me break away from this dull, drab stuff that I'm in. Another thing that goes with the court jester and the fool is honesty and common sense. Like I said, it will kind of mock the situation. It's a mirror. But it doesn't care. It's joking. It's playful, willing to go with the flow, have fun. Life is an experience. Nothing more. Read between the lines of the truth and see the true mirror of what is happening and why we're creating it that way. So we can uncreate, shift, and change. And the next thing is the clown, the court gesture, is an archetype. And that's where they're going here. No one human being on this planet is an archetype. But we've been programmed to put ourselves as the human being archetype. Not a white person, not a black person, not poor or snobby people or any kind of excuse you can have behind a label of an archetype. We are not a three-dimensional archetype. We are so much more. We are gods. We are divine essence and energy speaking with God on a moment-to-moment basis, even when we don't realize it, speaking with the consciousness. Stop being the archetype that you were told, taught. We're so much more than that. There's not even something to label the fearlessness of what we truly are. We're massive energy that is capable of anything. You are soul fire and it is unlimited potential. You have to get into that idea and bring it back to that court jester, because that's what we are. We're humor, we're playful, we're movement, we're witty, we're living in the moment, we're social confidence. We're the beginning and the end of all things. Spirit goes, so why so serious? Like I said, get out of that dull. They give me the clown too with this. So they're going from all the way around to being everything that we can be to everything that's the worst of it, as they bring me all the way to Pennywise. And the Joker was, why so serious? It's only serious because we make it serious. It's only dull and drab because we've made it that way. We've believed in it. We've allowed it to be. We have to break away and not get in the way of the magic of what is coming. This is why I'm giving it to you this way. We have to break away and get out of the way of the magic that is coming to make the changes, instead of us trying to make them by overpowering it and changing it and controlling it under that drab concept, that drab idea. Stop clinging to the past. Stop clinging to the ideas that you know. Stop clinging to everything that is on that idea. Stop clinging to the possessions of what you feel you have to have. This is so much more of we're needing to get into that go with the flow and be the energy. And this is not even faith. This is getting past faith and believing and really truly starting to step into knowing. We're getting into truly coming back to ourselves, but honoring the ego that keeps us in question here as we start to learn who our true identities really are. Don't break the magic. Don't cling. Release all your expectations is what they're giving me. When we get into that court gesture, that full personality, we can't have expectations because we're ready for all new. Jump off the cliff, so to speak, and see where you land. Yes, I'm saying that. Don't go jumping off a cliff for real, but you get my point. No preconceived notions is what we need to start looking at. We don't need to pray for it, beg for it, hope for it. We need to know it. But know that we don't know how it's going to happen. And that's part of the wonderful genius, part of the magic, if we allow it to happen by not being in the way and ebb and flow. All week, you have a grand trine. This is very wonderful energy. Hold on. The moon this week is going to be moving through Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra, which I will come back for. But all week, you have a grand trine. This is positive energy. You have Jupiter. Well, technically, you have Jupiter and kind of Mercury. Venus is still crossing over Jupiter, but what will be here longer is Mercury, closest to it. Speaking with Pluto, which is in retrograde, and Lilith in the 6th house. So this is our communication universally in the 3rd house of Gemini, Jekyll and Hyde. Abundant knowledge coming in, because anything Jupiter touches, it magnifies on, it amplifies. It's the abundance. Here it's your communication and everything that's up close and personal to you. It's your curiosity and your wonderment of growth, of knowledge, of understanding that maturity and the shifting and how something works. Curiosity of growth itself within our own families and up close and personal, as well as like short journeys, like to the store. So abundance is coming in, communication is coming in. You're definitely going to be getting info, whether it's from yourself or you're catching it in the between, and you're going to be getting it with Pluto. That's the outer world in retrograde and overdrive, speaking to your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. Where are you stepping into that? Where are you with the right people? Where is it your groups and your memberships and your committees? Where are they helping you, not manipulating you for their own dreams, goals, and ambitions? And then coming back to Lilith, this is your daily routines, your communication, and seeing upfront, up close, personal dreams, goals, what is possible. Being open-minded enough to see where the possibilities are and know how to take them and maneuver with them. This is a very good energy. You have a T square, though, all week, where the Sun and Venus, Mercury at the end of the week will be coming in, is not getting along with Neptune in that universal 12th house, and it's not getting along with Lilith. So this is saying, oh, but I bet you'll still stick with what your comfort zone is. Because this is all still taking place in the same Sun energy, that same Gemini energy, Jekyll and Hyde. This is, are you emotionally attached or logically thinking? And this is about balance. Gemini's problem is balance. It's not all emotions or all logic. It should be an even balance of yin and yang, left brain, right brain, feminine, masculine, action and intuition, physical world, psychic world. This is our unconscious actions really coming up and showing us who we are and what our beliefs are, as well as if we need to address changes in them. As it's speaking to Neptune, Neptune is your magic, but it's illusion and delusion. It's fantasy meets harsh-ass reality. It's the 12th house, universally. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities, denial, skeletons in the closet, speaking right up to your daily routines, your energy diet. The difference between the trine and the T square is Neptune and Pluto. Pluto is who you are, but you don't know that yet. What we're trying to locate about our soul essence in that court gesture versus fighting with our Pennywise energy. Illuminating our truths of what we can do versus what we're afraid of, and we keep ourselves back and we keep creating not what we want. Fantasy meets you, smacks you in the face with harsh reality here. Daily energy diet, people, places, things, and what we're attached to. Don't cling. Be willing to go with the flow. But this week is incredibly unpredictable. It's like an unpredictable maze, okay? Because when I was looking at the astrology, all I'm just seeing, I'm like, look, unpredictable, unpredictable, unpredictable. And that is a wonderful thing, but that's where we get that free will. I love you so much. I'll also give you enough rope to hang yourself. It's up to you. Free will. You have the sun and that Venus and Mercury, because it's a little bit further away from Jupiter as Mercury comes in, is getting along with Pluto in that unpredictable energy, and then it's going over to Chiron. Well, you realize the character you are, the one you have been being, or the one you want to be. And what will we do with that? Because it's going to Chiron in the North Node. Aries, everything you need to learn in order to move forward about becoming who we truly are, identifying who we are, identifying our character through our unconsciousness, becoming conscious about ourselves. Pluto is, what are you showing the outer world? Where is the outer world still have authority over you versus you realizing you're creating that outer world? Bringing it right back to the communication of what we're creating. You are the consciousness. Unpredictable, meaning it depends on emotionally if you can handle your emotions and where things are going. Where will you drive that ship? You have Jupiter, which is having very unpredictable energies with Saturn. This is your your third house, that communication, abundantly coming into knowledge, abundantly hearing and seeing and viewing that 12th house. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities, rules, walls, boundaries. Can you maneuver it, or will you allow it to maneuver you? Like I said, very unpredictable energy. That Jupiter energy, no, sorry, then it comes into the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, which is also having that odd conversation with Saturn, making you feel like you kind of have to do it this way. This is the only way that you know how to do it. The more you try to stay with the way things have been, the more you try to stay with this is the only way I know how to do it, the more shit is going to go wrong. This is definitely stepping into that court gesture, not believing, but knowing the flow is going to be the best it can be. But you can't disturb it and screw up its magic. Because like I said, this is restrictions. This is rules, walls, boundaries, restrictions, allowances, and maneuvering the grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities, lies, denial, skeletons in the closet, coming right back to illuminating the sun, your Mercury, your communication. Will you have word vomit and get yourself in too damn deep into something that you can't even heal with yourself and or others? Will you believe the shit you tell yourself? That's a powerful magic, especially when we're using it in the wrong way. When we're in our shit storm, and we talk ourselves down and talk ourselves into bad. No, this is unpredictable. It could go any way. Like I said, this is, I love you so much. I will give you the rope. You can either pull yourself up or hang yourself from it. But it's right there. lessons, baby. You have that Sun, Venus, and Mercury is also sextiling Mars. So it is coming into that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. But Mars is not very strong here in Taurus. Uranus is not very strong here in Taurus. It's your inner warrior, having to search for the confidence. And what are you giving it the confidence it needs? Or are you bashing yourself in your communication with it? It's very important to understand this week the flow of our communication and what we're allowing ourselves to think, and knowing when to turn that off. Look, I was born with everything in my third house in retrograde, everything in communication in retrograde, and then my Mercury itself in retrograde. So I have had to learn to become a master at going, okay, here we go again. Because when it's a retrograde, it's automatically teaching you how to not do what harms you. And like I said, my communication is overthinking and analyzing until I destroy myself. I've had to learn to go, no, no, no. You know what? As soon as I see that, I got to kick that in overdrive the other way. That can be hard. I don't know how many times a day I tell myself, void, cancel, delete, shut up, start over, void, cancel, delete. That's something you really have to work on here. But it's in a sextile, which means if you can bring your balance and your yin and yang here, you will fly through this. Ebb and flow. Mars itself is having an unpredictable energy, speaking with Lilith. That is your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your liberation, taking the bull by the horns with confidence and taking the chance of stepping out there in your daily routine, making that energy diet work for you. People, places, things, your daily routines, your daily activities, the mundane. Lilith is telling you to believe in it. Don't let anything manipulate you into not being what you want to be, not living the life you don't want to live. All of us get stuck with some shit we don't like to do, but why do we allow ourselves to keep in the same routines when all I really want to do is this or that? Like I've said before, little small movements, little changes add up to big changes. Uranus, oh, hold on. Mars is fighting again with Saturn and with Pluto. And that's a very powerful energy. You have that Mars, second house, wanting to take action, wanting to stand in its power, wanting to be the inner warrior, wanting to believe in itself, knowing that this is where manifestation comes from, but it's fighting Saturn, setting rules, walls, and boundaries, making changes that heal, and fighting Pluto and believing in yourself. This is a week that you have got to get in that court Jester. You have got to not believe it. You have to fucking know it. And like I said, this whole week is leading us up to a full moon in Sag, galactic center. Just who are you? And what are you showing the consciousness that you are down with? Uranus is getting along with Saturn and Neptune, though. But like I said, it's not in its most powerful position. But it is getting along with acknowledging what you want to be, where you want to change, where you want to take this life, breathing it into reality and owning your own, not just character, but owning your reality, owning what you're creating, owning your dreams, magically starting to believe and put it on there and find the healing. It's there, but Uranus is not the most powerful here. Mars is not the most powerful here. So this is saying, like I said, this has to be, I know. I have to harness that this week. And most of all, on the 12th. Ooh, sorry, on the 12th, we have more or less a yod. But on the 10th and the 11th, you have a Leo moon, meaning drama. A Leo moon speaking in a sextile with Sun, Venus, and Mercury. So this is going to be a little bit drama-ish. It's the fire of the Sun itself speaking with the moon and the Sun again, and Mercury and Venus. The sensitivity coming into boldly stepping into something, but it's drama. So this is making sure you're boldly stepping into it in a way that works for you, not word vomit against you. Sextile, this should be a good thing. You should be able to create opportunities by standing in that fire power on the 10th and the 11th. But it is having a very unpredictable energy with Saturn and Neptune. So this is questioning if you'll actually do it, if you'll actually take up the opportunity, or if you'll watch it and pass. Then you have more or less a yod that is taking place on the 12th this week with that Sun and Mercury. And it is speaking with Virgo's moon at the time and Juno. Then speaking with Pluto in retrograde. So this is your daily routines, your energy diet, your mundane tasks, which happens to be the most powerful parts of manifestation, what we overlook and do daily. Speaking to the communication of how we're connected to it, what we're clinging to, in our thinking process, in our actual verbal communication, illuminating what we're going to connect with and see and be a part of, and taking that right over to your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, your community, the outer world. This has everything to do with that. Like I said, it's a yod energy, and it is speaking to you about, are you you yet? Are you bringing you, your goals, your dreams, and all of that court gesture, beautiful bigness to the reality of the world you're creating? Or are you still questioning the world you're creating and can't feel it and know it and see it? Because that Sun and Mercury is also speaking with Chiron and the North Node in the first house. All of this has to do with you. Are you realizing how wonderful you are? How wonderful this experience is, and how it only matters when we give ourselves, when we cling to the idea or the outcome or the hope or the desire. If we just flow, dance. Your light body is asking you to dance. Be part of the dance. That's it. Understanding when you're dancing and you're playing and you're singing, you are creating so much more vibration in your aura, so much more fun. I mean, when you're just goofing off, standing there like, little dumb dance to yourself, or singing to yourself, or humming to yourself. Like I said before, some of you have heard me say it. This is Jacko-voxing, jacking up central vibration, bringing us to the court gesture, being even bigger than just the vibration of that humming or that dancing or that singing. It is asking you to be the vibration, be the fool, because the fool's got nothing to fear. It already is number one, more or less. I love you guys. Bye.